Today, I'd like to talk about another component for Adalo that we're releasing. It's called the Biometric Login. And what this does is allow you to log in using FaceId or TouchId. I haven't really put much effort into the README right now. Maybe I'll come back and update that to make it clearer. So let's just jump right in and see how it works. So this is a mirror of my phone. Using the window sharing. So this is actually my phone. We now sign up, and I've added a new button called Enroll Biometric Login. So when you select this option and you sign up, then you'll be able to, if your device or if your phone is capable of it, and you've actually registered FaceId or TouchId, then you'll be able to log in with TouchId. So I've already gone ahead and done that. So I'll select I already have an account. And now I've added a button called Login with TouchId. So when I click on this, I'm going to show my screen. Oh, my background filter is not showing the screen, but my screen is actually asking me to enter my fingerprints. So when I press my finger to my phone, it has now logged me in as the account that I've set up with. And that's really it. So instead of needing your user to type in the email and password all the time, once they've subscribed with TouchId, they click on TouchId and put their finger to their phone, and it unlocks their account. So let's just go through really quickly how this works. Again, once you've installed it, you'll see Biometric Login as part of your private components. And right now I've added it to 2 places, though you probably want to add it to 3 places. So I've put the button Login with TouchId. The way that this works is well, let's just go through some of the settings. So what's the label for it? We call it Login for TouchId. You could say whatever you want, Login, Biometric, or anything. Add the icon, change the background color if you want. Username for enrollment. So this is part of the sign-up process. We don't need to care about this when we're logging in. Password for enrollment, we don't care about. Credentials valid, we don't care about. What we do care about is triggered when we successfully receive the stored username and password. So when we get the username and password, we can log in with the saved username and saved password that comes from the component. And then once we successfully log in, we'll just go to the home screen. Now, some of the other actions, if it fails to receive the username and password, then we'll get this event. And here you'd probably want to show a modal pop-up or something that'll say, please enter your username and password rather than using biometrics because something went wrong. And then this again is for the enrollment process, which we'll go over. This is triggered when we successfully enroll the person or when we fail to enroll the person. And that is it for the login page. So really all we need to do is give the button a name. When we successfully retrieve the password, we log the person in with the email or with the username and password, and we just change the screen to the home screen. Again, for, if this is going to be a deployed app, professional app, then you'd probably want to add a modal pop-up if they're failed and handle the failures if they come up. So the next thing we have to do is we've added it to the sign up page as well. And again, this is the invisible component. So I've just updated the text to be the color of the background so we don't actually see it. And we'll shrink the button down so that nobody can click on it. Rather than using the form, we have now used just components. And we've actually added in 2 hidden input fields. Let's see where I can find them. Here, no. Yeah, let's expand this. And expand this. So because of Adalo, we don't really have actions in the traditional sense. We kind of go about it in a roundabout way. And where's my biometric login? try this again. So we type in the username and we type in the password. And then the username for the enrollment is the text box. The sign up is the text box. Now, we don't want to actually enroll the person until they've clicked on sign up, because if they've changed their password or they cancel out, we don't want to store their credentials. So we just populate those, and the enrollment will only happen if the credentials are valid is equal to true. So we have to set this to be equal to true when we're ready to store the credentials. The way that we do this is I've added the checkbox, which changed the input value of this first hidden field called Enroll in Biometrics. So if it's checked, it's yes. And when they uncheck it, it's no. So this will just have a yes or a no. Then when we click on the sign up button, we will change the second invisible field to be true only if we want to enroll in biometrics. This first invisible field is equal to yes. So this way we actually can wait and store it. And then, we'll do the sign up process, and we'll optionally link to home if the enrolling in biometrics is no. Because if we are enrolling in biometrics, what we do is once this becomes true, it starts the process of saving your credentials to your phone using secured storage, which is why you need the TouchId to unlock your username and password. And then once we succeed in the enrollment, then we're going to go to home. So only once the enrollment succeeded, if we selected to enroll in biometrics, do we go to home. And again, for due diligence, if you're going to release this to the actual public, if the biometric fails, you should add a pop-up window. Do you want to retry? Something's not working, or you haven't set up biometrics on your phone, or any kind of thing like that. So those are the two. And like I said, most of the time, we probably want 3 of these. So the third one, if I had a profile page, would be on the profile page. I don't have one in this app, but I'd have a profile page, and then you'd have a toggle button that says turn on or off biometrics. So that way, if the user from the profile page already has an account and wants to use biometrics because they've turned it on their phone, you can add a toggle button that will go through, have a modal pop-up that asks them to type in their password. And then you just go and say whatever that password is. We pass that into the username. We pass that modal into, or the password you've asked, into the password for enrollment. When they click the OK button from the modal, then it'll store, we'll set this to true, and it'll store the data for them. So that's it. So now, thanks to this component here, located at PragmaFlow Inc. Adalo Biometric Login. If you want, you can support TouchId and FaceId. Then when the user pushes, again, on my phone, I'm going to put my thumb to my phone, and we'll see. Oh, I didn't get it right. There we go. As soon as I validate with my phone, it now logs me in.